crafting journey here, that journey chick on Instagram. It's a great day. It's Wednesday, hump day. Mike, well, I can't say that. Mike. There we go. Mike. I think that's a commercial or something. Has to do with hump day. I don't know. Anyhow, I work from home on Wednesdays. I've already put in a little time at the office. I'm running a little late today. I didn't get much sleep last night. It's such an exciting night last night with the premiere of Ticket to Ride Destination Paris, the event that starts January 1st. Check out that video. I'll put a link somewhere here or here because it's the premiere. It tells you all about the event, and you'll want to join the Facebook group that goes along with that. And the link is in the chat for that premiere. I'll try to put it down in my description as well. So yeah, so you don't have to go too far. If you don't want to watch a video, I'll put a link down in the description. Okay. Stuff that we're going to talk about. Get our planner out. Yes. Planner. I got this beautiful little bow here for this week. For this month, actually. So many cute things. Okay, today's Wednesday. Yesterday, the Advent gnome. Let's get the Advent gnome out. Said to buy each other, to buy somebody a coffee. Random acts of kindness. So I didn't go anywhere yesterday, but my sister did, and she bought me a coffee. That was so sweet of her. Honest to God. All right, what else is going on here? So today we're going to talk about, Rosa Parks. It's Rosa Parks Day. And we're going to talk about, I always forget, this day in history. What was it? I do my research and then I forget. Antarctica. We're going to talk about Antarctica. Yes, the South Pole as opposed to the North Pole, where you will find my little friends here. All right, so I wrote in that we did the premiere, so we can put that over here. Premiere. I do have some unboxings that I have just not done. I need to get those done. Oh, there's a school bus out there. Oh, we have no children here. I think she just stops there for, I don't know why she stops there. I've seen her here before. She just stops there. Maybe she's cleaning the bus or something. I don't know. I digress. Anyway. Let's see what today is. There are 24 days until Christmas. So let's find out. I've got to use my little tweezers to get the thing out of the gnome here. Okay. There's 24 days till Christmas, so we're going to use the tweezers and we're just going to pull out our little paper. We're going to see what random act of kindness we could try out. Yep, let's see. Oh, okay. Take some treats to work. I will do that tomorrow. How about that? I'll stop and get donuts or something tomorrow. Take some treats to work day. I work from home today, so I could bring some treats in here for me. But if you work outside the home, take some treats to work. This is just a suggestion, really. Something you could do between now and Christmas that would mean a lot to your coworkers. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gnome. Thank you. Okay. Random act of kindness. All right. I got my gnome cup, coffee cup. Let's talk about Rosa Parks Day. Rosa Parks, in 1955, after a long Thursday at work, she gets on this bus in Montgomery, Alabama. And at the time, they had this law that if a white person wanted your seat, you had to give it up if you were black. And there was a section of the bus in the back for the black riders, which, by the way, made up 70% of the ridership of this bus system in Montgomery, Alabama. but they only got a few seats in the back. Well, Rosa had a long day at work. However, she was also an active member of the civil rights movement. And there had been some talks about not giving up your seat on the bus and creating a situation where the law would be challenged. Now, they did not designate that she would be the one to do this, but the opportunity arose. She had heard them talking about it. She's tired. It's Thursday. She takes a seat at the front of the section where the black people are supposed to sit. The bus driver comes over and asks her to give up her seat for a white man. And she says, nope, not going to do it. She's arrested. Yeah. So what happens is Martin Luther King Jr. emerges as the leader of this nonviolent civil rights movement, and they decide that they are going to boycott this bus system. And they boycotted this bus system for a year because of this. For 1 year, they carpooled, they walked for miles to get to work. But like I said, it put a serious dent in the ridership. 70% of their riders were black people that used this bus system. They weren't using the bus system. Finally, the Supreme Court of the U.S. said this Montgomery, Alabama law is illegal. It's unconstitutional. It got done away with. So they announced an end to the boycott, and they started riding the bus again wherever they wanted to sit, as it should have been all along, right? Yes, all's well that ends well. But Rosa Parks, when she passed away, Rosa Parks' body actually got to lay in the Capitol Rotunda for people to come see her. That's an honor, that not many people get that, outside of very high political people. But she, as a civil rights activist, got to have her body in the Capitol Rotunda for people to come view. Oh my God, amazing! So, National Rosa Parks Day. Yep. Anyhow, that is that. Let's talk about the trials. Now, I said there were very few trials going on. I lied. Apparently, there's quite a few. So first of all, we can talk about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, which is in federal court. So I'll tell you what I know about what has happened thus far in this trial. It's in federal court. There are no cameras. She is charged with several counts of sex trafficking. Yes. She assisted Jeffrey Epstein, who was also charged with all these counts, but he committed suicide in jail. So opening statements occur, and the prosecutor, obviously makes the argument that she was his assistant, she was his right-hand woman, she procured these young girls for him, and sometimes even participated. Well, the defense argument was, this woman is a scapegoat. Scapegoat, that's the words they use. That, they didn't get to try, they didn't get to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein, they were never going to prosecute her if they could have tried Epstein, but he committed suicide. So they needed a scapegoat. So now here comes Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend and employee, and they try her. So, and that's all this is. These are young women with very fuzzy memories. It happened a long time ago, and yada yada. So day one of the testimony was a pilot for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know all of his testimony. He said that he was not aware that sex was occurring on any of the planes because the cockpit door was always shut. But on these planes, there were passengers such as Bill Clinton, Prince, what's his name? Prince, Charles's brother, Andrew, Prince Andrew. Who else? Oh, Donald Trump. Let's not leave out Donald Trump. He was on that plane too. Huh, interesting. Yeah, and they would fly all over the place with Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein would procure these young women to have sex with men. Now, I don't know if they had sex with the men that were on the plane because the cockpit door was shut. We'll never know. So the next person to testify is the youngest victim. She was 14 years old when she was recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. They courted her. They took her and her mom out to lunch. She was going to this camp that he sponsored. So he basically picked her out. They take mom and her to lunch, and mom is very enamored that her daughter was chosen by these rich people that they're gonna, they like her, they're taking care of her, like they buy her ice cream and take her to the movies, like they do all of this stuff. But then after a time, he starts having sex with her, and sometimes Ghislaine Maxwell would even join in. Now, I don't know if mom knew that, but eventually, over the next several years, he flies her to New York, where he puts mom up in an apartment that she pays for, and daughter's going to school in New York. Eventually, the daughter gets a boyfriend and says, I'm not doing this anymore. Now, there's going to be a hearing today about whether they're going to let the boyfriend come in and testify about what she told him at the time. Because one of the defenses is, their memories are very fuzzy. Well, maybe her memory's not so fuzzy. Let's see what she told her boyfriend at the time this was occurring. So we'll see if the judge is going to allow that today. Anyway, that's where we're at in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Then, yes, another trial is starting. The trial of Kim Potter. Kim Potter is a young police officer. I remember this very distinctly because we were all watching the George Floyd case. I was covering the George Floyd trial, and oh my God, like in the same, like the next town over, all of a sudden there's a shooting. Dante Wright, a young black boy, is shot and killed by Kim Potter. Kim Potter, and we see the body cam footage, we see the shooting. She claims that she had reached for her taser, but accidentally pulled out the gun instead. And you hear her say, oh my God, I just shot him. I shot him as he's driving away. And the only reason he was pulled over is because he had an air freshener hanging from his mirror in the car, which apparently is illegal in this state. I'm thinking, oh my God, what? This guy died over an air freshener? Oh, this is going to be a good trial. So they're doing jury selection now. And interestingly enough, the prosecutor is the same prosecutor that prosecuted the George Floyd case, Derek Chauvin. He got a conviction on Derek Chauvin. So let's see what he's going to happen with Kim Potter. Now, she's not charged with murder. She's charged with manslaughter. A lesser charge. It's not going to involve life in prison. But, nonetheless, we're going to see what's going to happen. They're going to go for the maximum. You know they are. An air freshener. What? Okay, yeah. So let's finish up the missing case of Andrea. Andrea Knabel, that's her last name, Knabel, I'll tell you, day 3. I finally figured it out. Because you're not allowed to talk about her name. Let's do some diamond painting, too, while we're at it. I just have like this little bit to go. I need to get it done and off my plate. Yes. I want to get Who's Your Doggy out and finish that, too. Anyway. So this detective that's investigating this now, this retired detective, he meets up with Andrea's old roommate, which happens to be someone who, very weird, dated her ex-boyfriend, or she's dating her ex-boyfriend, or I don't know. Like they broke up and then Andrea dated him and then they broke up and the roommate I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so the roommate agrees to meet with him. So he goes and he knocks on the door of this house where the roommate lives, and this guy answers the door and he's like, yeah, I'm the ex-boyfriend. She doesn't want to talk to you here. Can she meet you at McDonald's? So the detective goes to McDonald's and sits there for like 2 hours, and he keeps texting her, are you coming? Are you coming? And she's like, yeah, I got to do something with the kids. I'll be right there. Finally, he gets a phone call, and it's from the ex-boyfriend. He's like, she really doesn't want to meet with you, but I can tell you everything you need to know. Okay. So he's saying that he was running a business where he sold methamphetamines. Yeah. And he went to prison for it. And he says, when I went to prison, Andrea took over the business. He says she was using, but when I went to prison, apparently she had access to all my customers. Now, this was not a big time operation, just small amounts of meth that she was moving. But his theory was, the ex-boyfriend's theory was, that she paid her suppliers with counterfeit money. So the detective remembers, oh, the sister mentioned that when they cleaned out Andrea's storage locker, Andrea had a storage locker because she was living with her mother. She couldn't move all of her stuff in, so she had a lot of her stuff in a storage locker. So when they cleaned it out, they found a very large printer and a $100 bill. So this former detective is also a former document examiner. So he looks at this $100 bill under a microscope. He compares it to a real $100 bill, and he surmises this is counterfeit. So she very well could have been paying her suppliers with counterfeit money and gotten into trouble. She may have called this ex-boyfriend says, listen, here's the guy you want to talk to. This guy, Max, was a friend of hers. He's the one that gave me all this information. You really should talk to him. So this detective, he goes and he finds Max, and he talks to Max, and Max tells them, yeah, she was using methamphetamine. He says, I drove her to the pharmacy where she bought this athlete's foot cream to put on some scabs she had on her face. So apparently I didn't know this. If you're a meth user, you get these, you get these things under your skin, on your face, and they feel like things crawling, and you scratch them, and they just become these horrible looking. And they show some film of her with these things all over her face. So she was clearly using meth, heavily using meth. But Max tells the detective, listen, this is not the angle you want to go with this. Her supplier was the nicest guy ever. He would not hurt a fly. And he was very, very sweet on Andrea. There's no way, if she had called him that night from her mother's house because she couldn't get in, if he came and got her, he probably wouldn't have hurt her. This is not the angle you want to go. You need to be looking at her younger sister and brother-in-law. Yeah. Because they had a fist fight that night. So apparently Andrea had been sleeping with her sister's husband. Or at least she was telling her sister that to make her jealous. So I don't know if that really happened. So the girls get into a fist fight. So anyway, another one of these missing in America people, the one that I said you don't hear from much, she is a psychic. So she comes to visit this town to help look for Andrea a week after Andrea goes missing. And she said, can I see the house where where she was living? Because she's a clairvoyant and she wants to walk through the house. So she walks through the house, and she said, oh my God, there was so much damage in Andrea's bedroom. She said at the wall, like at head, at head size, at the wall, I don't know, what am I saying? The height where your head would be. There was a hole in the wall that went through to the drywall. And she said the only way that could have happened is somebody bashed their head in, So, I don't know. But when the police get there, there's no damage. All the damage has been fixed. All the searches that occurred, the missing America people search for her when she goes missing. Everybody searches for her when they go missing, except the sister and her husband. They don't search for her. They move. They go to another state. They were asked to be part of the documentary. They're like, they never responded. Never responded. So this detective goes on. Now he's working under the theory now that it's either something that happened in that home that night, between the sister and brother-in-law and her, or her supplier. So now the detective, he's like spent a month here in this Louisville, Kentucky. So he goes to the Louisville Metro Police Department and he says, I want to meet with the detective because he says, by law, I need to let them know everything I've discovered. So I want to talk to the detective that's working on this case. So he comes out and he gives him his phone number and he says, yeah, I want to meet with you and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, eventually they do get together, they exchange all the information. And now once the police department learns that there's a documentary, because it was allegedly still an open case, but what the family believes is once they caught wind that she was a meth addict and that she was selling it, and they lost interest in the case. But once they figured out there was a documentary, they're like, oh, maybe we should reopen this case and start from the beginning again. So they do. So the first thing they want to do is have all the family members give lie detector tests. Now, I don't know, now we're all the way up to like September of 2021, like just a few months ago. So they are still, as of today, they are still investigating this family, as well as other avenues, but they're focusing in on the family right now. So that to date, Andrea has not been found. Searches have not found her body. No one knows what happened to Andrea. There's so many theories. This was such a good series. It is on Discovery Plus if you want to watch it. I believe it's called What Happened to Andrea. It's in 4 parts. But very, very good. They don't find her. They're still investigating the family. The police are now, because of the documentary, they're hoping that, with everybody hearing about this, that someone will come forward with information that will help put some pieces of this puzzle together for them. So if you have any information about Andrea Knable, please contact the Louisville Metro Police Department. Yeah. There you go. And no, I don't know the phone number. Sorry. You're like, what's the number? She's sitting right here. She's diamond painting. Yep. Nope. Okay. This day in history. What did I write down? Because I forgot it again. I'm so terrible. Antarctica. Oh my gosh. On this day in history, 1951. They're still fighting over Antarctica. There's 12 countries that are trying to stake a claim to Antarctica, which, by the way, is not livable. You cannot live in Antarctica. It is down by the South Pole. It's they were fighting over it. The Britain, Russia, all these different countries, 12 different countries were staking claims to pieces of land in Antarctica. So what the U.S. did, I don't know why we were involved. We weren't staking a claim to it. We decided to negotiate a treaty where it was decided that there would never be any arms on this country. And all 12 countries signed it. The continent itself would be governed by an international organization. There would never be any military bases, no kind of firearms, nothing on this continent, which I think is a fantastic idea. The only thing that's done on this continent is research. The people that live there, and there aren't more than 5,000, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000, depending on the season, are researchers. They come, they do some research, and then they go back home because it's cold. There's no cities. There's no access to like grocery stores, mail, you know, it's not like we think of, you know, going to another country and going to a city. There's not, it doesn't exist there. There's some dwellings that belong to some researchers, but this is not claimed now by any of these 12 countries. It was agreed that we would not use this country for any military purposes whatsoever, which I think is a fantastic idea. And the researchers are allowed to go anywhere in the territory of Antarctica that they want to do their research. But interesting fact, there have been 11 babies born on Antarctica, and not accidentally. This was part of research. So Antarctica, they all did great. These women were sent there by one of the 12 countries as an experiment to see how they would do in this colder weather. Who would volunteer for that? Yes, I'm 9 months pregnant. Send me to Antarctica to have a baby. So 11 women did. They successfully had their babies. Antarctica has a 0% mortality rate. So weird. Weird facts in history. Yeah, Antarctica. Let's go to Antarctica and have a baby. It's freezing cold there. Yeah, not happening. So guys, that's the show for today. Tonight is Craft With Me Wednesday. I want to try to do that ice skate thing. I gotta look up the pattern again. I don't know. It's, you know, I need like a teeny tiny little needle. I don't know. We'll see. We'll do something together. That's crochet. Yeah. So maybe we're going to crochet. Last week we did loom knitting. Today, crochet. I'll bring you up to date on my crochet projects. I think I got one going. Yeah. I'll show it to you. Anyway, I love you all. Take care. Have a great Wednesday. Don't forget, Ticket to Ride, Destination Paris. You want to join the Facebook group because that is where that's where the plane's going to take off, and the train. Yep. So I'll see you all. Bye.